Hi, I'm Michael Allison, Commercial Director at Roma Finance, and welcome to another episode of RomaTalks, when I'm joined by people from across the property ecosystem. And today I'm delighted to be joined by our very first broker to attend the show, which is Paul Grace from YBFA. Hi, Paul.
Morning. Thank you very much. Wow. Honoured to be the first broker. Thank you.
It always makes sense. Someone's got to be the first, and we've got a good relationship.
Yeah,
so
definitely so.
I thought it'd be good. So obviously I know quite a bit about you, and we were talking off air as well about football, etc. But tell us a bit about yourself and your journey into finance first and foremost.
Yeah, well, I went straight into finance from university. So I joined Yorkshire Bank as a graduate, and 25 years later left them back in 2019. And then it was a case of, what do you do next? So looked at going back into banking, and an opportunity came up to go into broking. And I guess the rest is history, sort of 5.5, 6 years later.
So YBFA, so 25 years, first of all, one institution.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, it was a bit of a crossroads. I probably institutionalised looking back, having done 25 years for one organisation. But, leaving that organisation and sort of becoming self-employed and running my own business, I don't regret it, let's put it that way.
Well, it was obviously a bit of a leap of faith as well. Obviously, 2019, you didn't know what was around the corner with regards to COVID.
Absolutely.
It was a great time to start a business, 2019, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I left in 2019 December. Sort of had Christmas off, came back January, February, just started to get the business going, and then COVID happened. Yes. And I thought, right, okay, well, this is interesting. I'm going to have 6-9 months in the garden, and we'll have to pick it up again later in the year. But obviously, the COVID loans kicked in, sort of March, April time. And the phone hasn't stopped ringing since, really. COVID loans started off as working capital, but then expanded into invoice finance, asset finance, property development. So we managed to sort of build up a really good bank of customers in obviously a bad time in a pandemic. And 5.5 years later, those customers are still with us. They've transacted with us many times. They've referred us to their clients and their contacts. So it's been an interesting 5.5 years and a busy one.
So not as long in the garden as you thought you were going to have, by the sounds of things.
No, absolutely. And if you remember, it was a red hot spring and summer, wasn't it? So, it was sort of interesting looking back, sort of 5.5 years ago, starting the business in my pokey little office at home, to where we are now with 10 people across the north of England. Just moved new offices, so just taken a 5-year lease somewhere and expanded. So, I guess the business has grown up a lot in the last 5 years.
Well, it certainly has, as is the brand as well. And obviously we've done quite a few really good transactions.
We have.
Of recent dates. I think what stands out for you guys is that relationship piece that you do. What's really interesting, and I didn't know this before, but the origins of your business, right at the height of when people needed a steady hand more than ever. And they needed that financial advice. They needed that partnership. You were there for them, which I guess, but how did they find you? Was it existing contacts? Were you pushing out there? How did that happen?
Yeah, I guess, so I'm a great believer in that relationships are at the centre of everything. So had a great relationship with my old clients from the bank. So sort of carried on talking to them. And obviously, when you've done sort of 25, 30 years in the industry, you know a lot of people, a lot of accountants, solicitors, professionals who were very good at supporting me when I started the business. So obviously at that time, and ever since, for people who've not been able to find finance with the banks or any other alternative finance provider, they've been pointed in my direction. And, again, that relationship thing is a key thing for us. So it's not a transaction. We talk to clients at least on a quarterly basis. So we're always talking to them about what they want to do and where they're going on the journey and how we can help and support them. So I like to think we could become a natural partner in their business and their journey to wherever they want to go.
It almost feels like the old-fashioned bank mentality, which I guess after 25 years, but people cry out for that now in the world of call centres or, account managers that are faceless. People who run businesses cry out for that steady hand, and it feels like that's what you're bringing to the table.
Correct. And that's our target market, really. So with high streets in particular, their model is constantly evolving, and they're putting clients into, a call centre or whatever it might be. So with some banks, you might need to borrow 750,000, £1 million, 1.5 million to get a relationship manager. Well, that's some pretty big businesses and some sophisticated businesses who actually want that relationship and that continuity. So, dare I say it, the high street banks and their model actually plays into our hands, and that's our target market. And I like to think we look after those clients well, which is our USP, because you've got to have a USP in this market to be successful. So if we look after those clients well and work in conjunction with the finance provider as well, they're getting a much better service and relationship all around.
Plus, as well, you've got that whole of market spread then, haven't you? So if you go to a bank with a relationship manager, as much as like that person, you only get the products that bank has.
Correct.
You've got the relationship, and then you've got the open market behind you.
Yeah, it's a strange one, because when I used to work in banking, I always thought banking was the light side and broking was the dark side. And actually, being now on the other side of the fence, I realise it's completely the opposite. Because when you're in a bank, you've got your products, you've got one risk appetite statement, and it's probably a yes or no or a maybe. Whereas in broking, where you're independent, FCA regulated and whole of market, you can actually look at what a client needs and go to 4 or 5 different finance providers and find exactly what they need, rather than being hamstrung by a credit policy with a particular funder or not. So, yeah, having that whole of market approach and being able to, if their funder has said no, being able to take them to, several other funders, I think that's now the light side. And I think very much where the market's going in terms of as bankers are leaving the high street, they are very much becoming driven into, accepting broker introductions and referrals.
I think as well is as people exit, or the people might have done 20 years, 25 years, 15 years, as the model changes at the banks, for instance, people still like doing business. They like having relationships. And if you can't have that, you go out there and build a business that does it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doing relationships and doing deals is what we get our buzz out of, And ultimately, a client is succeeding because you're helping them with funding to achieve one of their goals, whether it's growth, acquisition, whatever it might be. And as a consequence, our business is growing.
Yeah.
So if you find the right businesses to work with, they grow, we grow, everybody's happy. And, again, it's about working with those clients. Why go out and win a new client and lose an existing relationship? Make sure your clients and the relationships are the right one for your business, and over a period of time, you'll grow with them and everybody's happy.
So we've mentioned the word relationship. What do you think is the secret to a successful relationship, or how do you approach a relationship to make it successful?
I think it's regular contact. I think it's about understanding where that client wants to go on the journey over the next 3-5 years, whatever it might be. Regular contact, helping them along the way. I think it's also about being friends and associates with them outside of work. So, we like to think we work hard but play hard as well. So, we like to go out with our clients and get to know them socially and their families and just go on the journey with them, really. And, I think the other thing as well, which we play on, is, we're available 24/7. A client runs their business probably 9 to 5, 8 till 6. They might not necessarily think about the funding or what they need to do until maybe 8, 9 o'clock on a night or on a Saturday or a Sunday. We're in a service industry. So if a client wants to talk to us, we're ready and waiting to talk to them. And again, I think that's a bit of a differentiator for us in that, we'll work with a client when they want to work with us, not when we've got the time to work with them.
Brilliant. So you mentioned that you've grown now to 10 staff.
Yeah.
Within that, are they all ex-bankers experienced like you, 25 years, or is there...
Yeah, so we've got a range. There's 8 in Leeds, 1 in Manchester, 1 in Liverpool. We've got a range of ex-bankers, and we've got some young and developing people as well that we've taken from other industries, and we're training them up because, again, you go back to the sort of financial services market. That training and development isn't coming through in funders anymore. So, we're sort of growing our own, and what we want to do is grow our own into be the next generation of brokers, bankers, whatever they want to be. So we've got a mix of ex-bankers, ex-brokers, and people who haven't been in the industry who we're trying to learn and show them the right way.
So I think over the sands of time, obviously I've been in specialist finance for a number of years.
Yeah.
And it always feels like the people who come from outside the industry, as long as they've got that work ethic and will to put the hard yards in, they do really well.
Yeah.
And everyone's got transferable skills, but as long as you've got relationship and resilience, they're the main two things.
Yeah.
You can go far. And I think obviously the people we deal with in your business, we have dealt with some of your ex-bankers who are great professionals.
Yeah.
But you've got this core of young talent who really understand it, get it, and are striving forward. You can only see a bright future for them, can't you?
You can, and hopefully we'll excuse me, train and develop them that way, and we'll bring them on. But I think a lot of our industry is about communication and service. So if you can communicate with your customers and give them good customer service, they'll forgive you for making a mistake. And we want to grow and develop our people. And our business is so wide ranging. We deal with the whole of financial services market apart from mortgages. So from bridging to buy to let to commercial mortgages to asset finance to invoice finance. So that takes a lot of learning, and it's a steep learning curve. But once you can get the snowball to the top of the hill, there's a great future for them. And if we're giving them all the basic personal skills to be successful, I think they'll go a long way.
Brilliant. And do you see the role of the broker change? Obviously, we read a lot about AI and technology. Do you see that enhancing the broker market, or do you see it being a threat? How do you?
It's a great question, and if I'm going to give you an honest answer, it's probably I don't know. I look at it, and I look at some of the fintechs in the market, and we work with the fintechs, but it's not our first choice, because as much as we want a relationship with our customers, we also want a relationship with our lenders and who we're placing business with, because we want to be able to pick up the phone and talk to them if something goes wrong or there's a bump in the road or something like that. But undoubtedly, AI is coming more into the market from a funder point of view and how they're looking and assessing credit applications. From our business, we are looking at it. I think we're probably looking at it from an onboarding point of view. In terms of, can AI and technology do the anti-money laundering, the onboarding documentation, the money laundering and know your customer side. But it's a fine balance for us, because we don't want to take away from that customer relationship, and we don't want it to be another email hitting their inbox with 50 other emails hitting their inbox. So undoubtedly, as technology and AI develops, we will have to adopt it. But having worked in a relationship serviced environment for coming up 30 odd years, I'm very wedded to that. So I think it's a mixture rather than wholesale change.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's artificial intelligence, isn't it? The intelligent touch should still be the human touch.
Yeah.
And that is talking, conversations, 7 o'clock on a Saturday or whenever. I know we've worked on a few transactions together where sometimes it is about, you drop the tools, you get on a Zoom call, you get a face-to-face doing, and you overcome any speed bumps in the road. And AI will never replace that.
Yeah.
And if it does, that means that lending's gone back to being very vanilla. I think it's finding that balance.
Yeah, and I think that balance also comes in with the customer. So, some of our customers, similar age to me, maybe in the 40s, 50s, 60s, haven't adopted AI and still want that human approach. As our business grows, we're seeing more customers come into the market who are used to that AI and technology and want to operate that way. So again, we have to flex our business to suit our clients' needs and what they want.
There seems to be without us sounding like two old men,
which we are.
Thanks very much. Without us sounding like, but there seems to be a real adverse thing to telephone conversations and all this kind of stuff, and having conversations. With as people are entering in, so there probably will be a balance at some time of where we'll have to make amends to how we communicate with newer customers and like yourself. So we'll.
I have to say it drives me potty when I see people emailing and pick up the phone, build that relationship, whatever it might be. But then at the same time, I see more and more customers who actually maybe don't want to operate on the phone and want to communicate by WhatsApp, text message, Teams, email, whatever it might be. So we actually, part of our psyche and thinking is to say, right, well, how does this customer want to interact with us? Because we need to make it as easy as possible for them to interact for us to help them. So, we've seen a massive uptick in WhatsApp usage, and again, that helps us as a business because you can create a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
So actually, if I'm not around and Jake is in the WhatsApp group with me, Jake can jump on it. He knows exactly what's going on and can pick up that client and that client relationship straight away. So again, it's adopting the use of it and working how best to use it with the client.
It is. I'm still not struck on voice notes though.
No,
just so you know.
Absolutely. Although I did send my first one last night, so I did feel quite modern.
I've got a direct borrower who I love him. We've done quite a few transactions. He always sends me voice notes. He's Glaswegian. So it's not quite the fit that I was looking for, but it's good for him and it works. So I get what it is on the third time of listening.
Yeah, he's not called Stephen, is he? Because I think we might have the same mutual customer in that case.
Potentially. Good. So obviously we talked about where we got to. It just feels like there's a lot of the reason we've done quite a few transactions together. There are synergies in all about relationships. And, when you're looking to choose a lender partner for your customer and also for you and your team to work with, what is it that you specifically look for?
Relationship, service, speed of service. So, the ability to get a decision in principle or a decision quickly so we can go back to the client, because that's one of our USPs. If a deal's there, we want to do it as quickly as possible. We want a relationship again, so we want to be able to pick up the phone, and that's important to us because deals change. Yeah, deals always change, so we have to take both the client and the funder on that journey. And again, price is important, and customers become obsessed with price, but price isn't the be all and end all. So we often say to our clients, "Who can you work with? Who can we work with?" Because if that funder is going to support you on that journey. Price becomes irrelevant, because what you don't want is to work with a funder for the first 3 months and then after 3 months that funder to say no, because that doesn't get anywhere. So flexibility, adaptability, speed of service and relationship really, and being available, being on the phone, returning calls. I constantly am gobsmacked at business development managers out there who take 48 hours, 72 hours to come back to you. Sometimes they don't come back to you. And we've got a hunger and desire to work with our customers and grow with them, but that works with the lender as well. So it's working with a lender who has got that desire to work with us. And, again, the more business we do with a lender, the more it becomes a work but non-work relationship as well.
Yeah, it all goes back to probably what you started out 25 years at the bank doing, which is it's about building relationships with people. And we've mentioned it quite a few times, but ultimately, without sounding morbid, we're only here once.
We are.
You may as well enjoy what you do, enjoy who you do it with. And then we all go to work to get to an end goal for ourselves.
Correct.
Selfishly as well, as much as we can help people. So you just got to find that balance, and it's having tiered relationships as well. So sometimes you're a senior leader, you might want a senior leader relationship. But it's got to filter all the way down.
Correct.
It's got to be authentic. That there's no point having one good person. So if you and I have a great relationship, but then the other 9 people don't gel with the other 69 people at Roma, there's no longevity to that relationship.
Correct.
Because it's then dependent on 2 people, isn't it?
Yeah, you are, and that doesn't work, quite simply. So, I think that's one of the great things about the size of our business, in that we know we've got good people in our business who share the same ethos as everybody else. But again, those personal relationships build. Everybody's on the same page. And I think the other thing with working with a funder as well is you get to know their professional partners as well. So, your solicitor panel, your valuer panel, whoever it might be. And that actually helps us, because one of the things that we're doing as well is when we work with a customer, we're thinking about how can we early engage a valuer or customer or solicitor or whoever it might be to make that transaction go through smoother. So we don't want to introduce a deal to you and say the market value on this deal is £1 million, and then 2 months later you get the valuation back and it's 800,000. So whilst we're engaging you, we might be talking to the valuer as well.
Brilliant.
Just from a very early stage point of view, to make sure all the assumptions around the deal are correct, because that makes the journey for you smoother, it makes it for us smoother, it makes it for the client smoother as well.
Well, our success moments are aligned. You know,
Correct.
Ultimately, the customer doesn't make the money they want to make until they do the transaction.
Yeah.
We don't earn any money as a lender until they pay us back, actually.
Yeah.
Until we lend it and pay us back. And you don't earn until the money's out the door on the piece. So we're all aligned, and I think
Correct.
it's bringing, you know, we're quite proud of the partnerships we build with valuers and with our lawyers and our QSs. Everybody's got to be aligned to that journey. Yeah. I think if one bit of it doesn't work, then ultimately the success for the people who have most invested in it doesn't come to pass.
Correct. But you will also be amazed at how many funders out there aren't aligned. And, you know, one of our frustrations is when things go into legals, it can often get a little bit lost in legals. So again, that comes back to having good solicitors on both sides and working to that common goal and being able to transact efficiently, quickly, and getting that deal across the line.
No, definitely. Good. If somebody wanted to get into broking, so obviously somebody's like you were those 30 odd years ago, ready to leave and go into finance. What's the best way for them to get into broking, do you think?
I think it's a mixture. You know, we operate an employed model. So, you know, we employ all of our brokers. So we're very fortunate that we've got a strong customer base and customers finding us all the time that we can afford to employ people. So for somebody coming into broking for a first time who doesn't have that network and doesn't have that customer base, you know, they can join our business and we can support them right from day one by giving them prospects and clients and, you know, being able to cut their teeth on day one. The other alternative is being what's called an appointed representative, where you become self-employed. So that's probably for somebody at the other end of the experience spectrum, you know, somebody who's been around the block a few times, has got that network, has got that knowledge bank of customers, and they would effectively be self-employed working with a broker or an FCA registered broker. And you know, they'd be transacting the deals in conjunction with us. So there's a real mixture. And you know, we've got an appetite to talk to all of those people. You know, we're still looking for good people. The emphasis there is on the word good, because we don't want to bring bad people into our business. But you know, if we find good people, you know, we can talk to them about employed roles and supporting them.
Yeah, because you're only growing.
We are. And you know, I left high street banking after 25 years, thinking I knew 95% of the market. And 6 months later, realised I probably knew 15% of the market. You know, I knew what the high street banks did. Wasn't really experienced in bridging, buy to let, and you know, that's been a steep learning curve. So, you know, learning the whole of the market is quite a big journey.
Well, we're looking forward as you continue to grow. Hopefully, carry on doing some transactions, because
absolutely,
I think we've got a mutual goal for the customer, and we're very aligned in our way of thinking.
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's great synergies between the two businesses. We've worked well historically. You know, we've transacted some big deals, and hopefully we've got another one going before not too long. Tomorrow, hopefully. And long may that continue. So, you know, we're very much looking forward to working with you and growing the relationship moving forward.
And likewise for us as well. And before we go, we talked all about that. We didn't truly find out what you do outside of work.
Yeah. So I am a dirty Leeds United fan. So I'll give my apologies for that in advance. So I'm looking for season ticket holder. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Leeds can survive the drop this year. Good start on Monday with a victory over Everton. And then outside of that, a lot of my time is work and family. So I've got a daughter who's about to hit 13. So officially become a teenager, but she's been there for the last 3 years.
I was about to say good luck, but you're already in the midst of it.
I've lost her to a bedroom and a phone already. And I've got a son at 8. So dad's taxis kicks in most nights and over the weekend. And yeah, like walking, you might find me enjoying the odd pint of Peroni and a bottle of wine. But yeah, that's work and family just take the majority of my time up, which is great.
Which is why you need that Peroni and all.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the teenage daughter.
Well, good luck with the teenage daughter and good luck with the business as well.
Oh, thank you.
It's a pleasure working with you and we're looking forward to doing more of it.
Yeah, no, great. Thank you for hosting me today, and we look forward to working with you moving forward.
Cheers. And thank you to everyone else for watching. Thank you. Goodbye.